whether it's a vendor, whether it's a buyer, whether it's a seller, whatever it is, they will like and appreciate and respect and admire the fact that you've had a difficult conversation rather than trying to hide things or beat around the bush.
They sent an email to him, to my boss, saying, are you looking to earn £250,000 a year tax-free? And it was like, call us now. So my boss, Colin, at the time, sent me this job advert, and he said, as the title, can you imagine never wearing a bikini or being able to drink again? So it was a complete joke. I've never heard of Dubai, so I typed it into Google, and all of a sudden the Burj Al Arab pops up and the beach, and I was like, oh, where is this place?
So, episode 1, talking Dubai property.
Lovely.
Let's talk some Dubai property. Let's also find out a little bit about Mrs. Jade Morris, lady herself. Tell a little bit about us. Yeah.
So, firstly, everyone, welcome to our first ever episode. Like Chris just said, talking Dubai property.
Boyish.
I think we're both a bit nervous. That might be a mix between nervous and awkward.
Yeah.
Nervous.
You created a word.
That is actually how we feel right now. So hopefully in the next few episodes, we won't be nervous, and we'll teach you a lot about property and how we feel about the market.
What are we looking to take from this? What are we looking to kind of get from this? From my mind, it is, look, yes, it's nice to connect with people that are in the industry, but also be a source of information for people who are either in the market, purchasers, buyers, sellers, and just,
other agents.
Just be a good source of information for people in the market.
I do think we have a huge wealth between us of knowledge. So we're able to definitely help people. So anyway, a bit of background about us both. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Jade Morris. I have been in the market for 11 years. Started in around 2012. Made my journey over from England, where I was a lettings negotiator for a very nice company in the south of England. Very, very good company called the Frost Partnership. If anyone knows the difference between kind of real estate in England and real estate in Dubai, they will know that you're not earning a lot of money at all. So scraped around working there, and soon found myself in Dubai. There's, 2012, I was offered a job opportunity by my boss at the time. He actually sent me the advert as a joke. So he sent me an email. It was a complete joke. Hi, Colin, if you're listening.
How was it even advertised then?
So basically it was, I can't remember the name of the company. They're definitely not around anymore, but it was a red and white sign.
Right.
And they sent an email to him, to my boss, saying, are you looking to earn £250,000 a year tax-free? And it was like, call us now. So my boss, Colin, at the time, sent me this job advert, and he said, as the title, can you imagine never wearing a bikini or being able to drink again? So it was a complete joke. Anyway, so I've never heard of Dubai. So I typed it into Google, and all of a sudden the Burj Al Arab pops up and the beach, and I was like, oh, where is this place? And that's how my journey began. I went into the back. I called a recruiter in central London, and I said, have you heard of Dubai? He was like, yes, of course. I said, is it really possible, these numbers? Can you really earn this much money? And he said, there's no salary. If you do not sell a house, you're not taking anything home. So me being me, I said, right, what do I actually own? Because I had a lot of finance at the time. I was actually in a lot of debt, honestly, at the time. Probably around 100,000 dirhams. I was 21, 22 years old. I was in a huge amount of debt. Very normal, actually, unfortunately, in England, for middle-class people, where the banks give out, like all these loans left, right and center, and credit cards. So yeah, literally, I owned a Peugeot that was worth about £4,000.
Yeah.
And I was like, right, I'm selling this car. I quit my job. Within 2 weeks, I quit my job and I jumped on a flight.
Wow.
One way to Dubai. And yeah.
It was a one-way ticket.
It was a one-way ticket. There was no return, and I knew there was no way back. I would have stayed working in McDonald's if I had to stay here. And I think that's a big part of, you know, when I speak about what we're looking for today in agents, we are looking for people, not necessarily in 100,000 dirhams worth of debt, but we are looking for people that have that hunger, that desire to succeed and, you know, not turn back. So anyway, that's, I started off, I arrived, I had 1 month with a joke of a company that was fake and didn't actually even exist. We weren't advertising on the portals. It was a joke. So I spent a month with him, lost my money pretty much, nearly spent it all. And then I went to a decent company. He took me to a good company in the market, and I was their top earner for 8 years. Amazing. Spent 8 years, built up my my name there, my career. The market was not what it was today. Correct. And a lot of agents didn't earn.
What year was that again?
2012. And beginning of 2013 until 2020. So good 7-8 years there. And in COVID, I knew it was time. In COVID, where a lot of agents weren't earning, I went on, I closed a lot of deals, I still managed to sell. And it was time to open on my own.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, whether it's real estate, non-real estate, COVID was a pivotal time for a lot of people, wasn't it? When you're
really was.
When you're left at home with your own thoughts and you're thinking about the future and all the other bits and pieces, you're thinking, well, look, why can't I do it? And yeah, you did it. It was amazing.
Yeah.
And what a success it's been.
It's been a lovely ride. It's very fun, Chris. It's not easy, but it's definitely not
never
boring.
A dull day, as we say.
So tell us, Christopher. Tell the audience about your journey. I
don't like saying how long I've been in real estate. It kind of shows my age.
Sound old.
Yeah. Look, I've been in real estate since I was 17 years old.
Yeah,
that was it.
How many is that, Chris?
A few years ago. I think it's 18 years now, isn't it? 18 years. What am I? 35 now.
Yeah.
So, 18 years.
35, still very young.
And was the same as you. The way I got into it, my older brother was in real estate, so I kind of looked up to him. He was in real estate, and decided to kind of look. I saw he you know, it looked like a good job, etc., etc. He had quite a nice lifestyle. And
he drove a nice car. I remember. Yeah,
that was it.
That was it. That was the turning point. You saw the car.
Yeah, I was 16 years old.
Yeah.
When I was 15, 16 years old, he used to turn up in a Porsche. And I thought, oh, well,
yeah, but it's quite. He must have been doing so well, because it's very rare in England that you would earn that much. Did he own the business at that point?
At that point, he was still running one of the regional offices, a company called Mission Welton. So he was running one of the offices down there, and he was good. He'd worked his way up into management, but again, you still sell, even though he operated the company. And he was great.
He was doing very well.
He then went on to go and set up a company that I then ended up joining called Brand Vaughan.
Nice,
great company. I was there for about 5 years, but before I joined Brand Vaughan, he recommended to me to go and start with one of the corporate companies. So I actually joined Connells, who were the largest.
Oh yeah, of course, everyone knows Connells
in the UK.
Yeah,
and kind of cut my teeth there, learned the structure, the organisation, etc., etc. Won, I think the award I won in the first year was like most promising newcomer.
Very nice too.
That was fun. And then joined Brand Vaughan, which at the time was Tom's company, which was great.
Yeah,
and was in, estate agency. After Brand Vaughan, there was another company that I worked for a little while. But did, the sum of 7-8 years in residential real estate in England. And it was great. But again, it wasn't easy times then. I mean, I remember.
Which year was that?
I joined 2007.
Okay, yeah.
Just after I joined.
The crisis.
2006, 2007. Not long after that was the crisis. And that was a challenging time, But we rolled our sleeves up, and a lot of companies were going out of business. But we were in the office during the global credit crisis. We were in the office at 8 o'clock, didn't leave until, 8, 9, 10 o'clock, sometimes later. And when people kind of throwing their arms up,
saying they can't do it.
The sky's falling.
Exactly.
We pushed on, and, there was a lot of difficult conversations, but companies were closing down. We ended up acquiring at Brand Vaughan 3 or 4 or 5 of the local companies. We acquired them. We acquired their stock, their listings. We bought them out for whatever we did, and it was it was an interesting time. Stayed in UK residential property for a while, which was great. And then I tell you what it was. The company that I moved over to after then was a company called Mission Welton.
Okay.
And one of the old owners actually moved to Dubai, and he was working for a company out here. And he said, "Look, we're catching up. Come out. You'll learn this. You'll be great."
Yeah.
Da 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 da. And I was like, "You sure?"
How old were you then? Like, what year was that?
I was 24.
Okay.
Moved out
Yeah.
here. I was 24, which was a good age.
It's a good age for sure.
It was a good age. You know, had a little bit of experience. Thought I knew it all. 24.
We still don't know it all today.
Really didn't. Learned that very quickly when I came here.
It's very different.
Oh, completely.
It's totally different. There's totally different.
Completely. And look, for the first, bulk of my time out here, I was working with developers, right? So it was also a very different, situation, very different role, where you have, you're working for a developer selling one type of property. You don't necessarily have access to, the whole market. So it was, it was different. It was good. It was a lot of fun. And we learned an awful lot. You're always learning. It was good. I actually moved out. I said to, who wasn't actually my wife at the time, we were engaged. I said, look, I'll go out for 4 months.
Yeah.
See what it's all like.
Yeah.
And then, I think it was 6th week, 8th week, something like that. Had 4 clients, told them 4 properties. They all bought. I earned, it was 250,000 dirhams, plus a bonus, plus this.
It's more than a year's salary. It was a no-brainer. Just
that was probably £50,000 was probably what at the time was probably what a good agent was on. 50 to 75,000 odd pounds.
Yeah.
And doing that, and it was like, all right,
see ya. Come on
the next one.
Get the kids.
But then it was good. So look, after that, there's been a couple of developer positions out here over the years, but I've been very much large companies, corporate structures, etc.
You're very good at the structures.
And it's
it's like my huge downfall.
But it's it's good. And then that all we decided to make a change. God, what was that? About six months ago now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Time's flying.
Time does fly.
Feels like you're here.
Time flies when you're having fun.
Feels like you've been here a long time though.
Yeah.
But time is moving quickly.
Yeah, past, present. I think it's good for, look, I think it's good to go into a little bit about, obviously, yes, I've been here for 11 years, work on the developer side of things, which has been great, very rewarding, and very, very grateful. You've obviously been incredibly successful on the, secondary market in your own right, obviously with the previous companies and previous company, and obviously setting up Jade and Co. Why did we partner?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't. So I just feel that, obviously, even when it was actually so funny, because even when I left the previous company and I opened the company in October 2020, so it's been nearly 3 years now, the one person that I saw consistently every week for Thursday/Friday drinks when the weekend changed and we used to was you.
Yeah.
And it was always, we'd catch up, wouldn't we, for them couple of hours and just discuss business and what was going on. And I think deep down you always kind of had that plan, didn't you, to always have your own thing, and
correct.
That was always there in the pipeline for you. However, I feel in the last 3 years, touch wood, I've been incredibly successful. We've closed a lot of business and we've made great money. However, one thing that I found for myself was the journey is very lonely. Like, you can have great staff, you can have family, you can have friends around you. However, there is no one that will ever truly be as invested with the same vision and mindset than your business partner.
Correct.
So it was kind of like, for me, do you take 100% of something big, or do you go, let's share this with somebody else, but for peace of mind, for somebody that brings, that structure, other skills that I do not necessarily have that you bring. And I feel like skill-wise, we just complement each other like perfectly.
I can't remember who it was. I think it was Grant or whoever it was. It's like, you cannot a lot of people think you can do it all yourself, but it's not. You do need to surround yourself with yes, you can say good people, but the right people as well.
100%.
And it's the same, you know, from my side. I mean, look, obviously when we finished with the when I made that conscious decision that it was time.
Yeah.
No, I was flirting with the idea of obviously doing
so
it
many things.
And it was,
and you had offers.
A lot of different things.
But you had offers from people to, you know, partner. You had offers from, God, you had so many offers.
Yeah,
you had so many different places to be. And also not just that, you had people offering you investment. And one thing I said to you, and I think it's a massive mistake that happens in the market at the minute with any good agents or anyone in senior positions that takes money from a client or like even like someone you've known, they go and take money and they say, right, we'll partner with you. Yeah. Even if that partnership is not 50-50 or it's 20 or it's 80, whatever it is, you owe someone else. You are effectively, you know, you're doing all the work.
Yeah.
And afterwards, resentment will build fast because they're not having their hands in the mud with you. So every day you're here and Chris is here late. Like what you hear, sometimes 7, 8 o'clock at night. You're here late. You're here every morning early. Imagine doing that and not having someone to pick up the phone to and say, right, this is going on, or this is, you know, after a few months, you'll get deep resentment. And I just don't think taking money for a partnership is a good idea.
But I also think as well, it's that 100%, you know, you're doing all of the work. Look, the things that might seem attractive at the time, you think, okay,
definitely,
there's going to be.
It's so short-sighted.
I'm not putting down my own capital, you know, etc., etc. But you know, after actually taking a long, hard look at it, you could build something up. Number one, and they could take it all away from you. Okay,
of course.
You know, that's one of the first things. You've also got to remember. I mean, look, we've heard some horror stories out there. You know, where people will, you know, invest money into a business.
Yep.
All they need to do is say, you know what, I'm not
out.
investing anymore. Number two, what if, you know,
God forbid something happens to them.
God forbid something happens to them. You know, how much DD are these people doing on the, you know, on the funds that they're taking from these people that are setting up the companies? You know, I've heard of people that
recently we've heard
have
taken money.
You know,
the partners disappeared.
Correct, because it wasn't as clean and clear as it potentially should have been. You know.
So back to what you were saying. I just don't. So you had all these opportunities.
Yeah.
Like, I remember you called me. I remember the day that you called me and and we always meet on like a Friday. Yeah, so it was so bizarre that you called me like on a Monday. You were like, can we meet? And I was like, something's changed here. I was like, yes, I'll be there in an hour. And I didn't actually know at that point in time that that's even what I wanted. It was, but it happened so organically, I feel.
I know. And then it was just one of those things that was thrown in there. Because what was it? I came to you with it was 3 things that we were discussing.
Yeah.
Take money from somebody else.
Yeah.
And set up.
Yeah.
Start by myself. Very small, very slowly,
very similar to what I did.
Exactly what you did. Okay. Or I think the other option was it going to work?
You know, you had another partnership. You had the partnership in Abu Dhabi. You had the partnership in Dubai as well. So there were 2 other people that were asking you.
Two slightly similar, different dynamics.
So like me being like.
Or set up slow. And then you went, well, why don't we do it?
That was so funny.
I actually worked. And look, that was the biggest thing that kind of, after we discussed it and we thought about it, it just made so much sense.
It didn't feel forced at all. Yeah. It was, I think it took us a good month or 6 weeks we kept meeting like every other day and then saying, okay, what about this scenario? Because I think one thing that is so good about us both, we're both very fair and straight, and we can have awkward conversations.
And you need to.
Which is, I find a lot of people find hard.
Oh my goodness.
And the fact that we can both just like say, okay, this is like theoretically what we're going to do. However, if we need to pivot tomorrow or we need to pivot, like, we will work it out in a way that's fair. So yeah, I think it's hard for anyone to have a business for 3 years and then bring someone in, because it's a lot harder than starting with a plain piece of paper on day one.
Correct.
But everything so far, touch wood, we've navigated and
but no, you do. I think, you know, difficult conversations, you know, need to be had.
Definitely.
With you know, business partners.
In life.
People, you know.
Clients, friends.
You know, all of these things. I think a lot of the time, if you just kind of brush it under the carpet, a lot of the time it
gets worse.
So it's better just to face these things head on. But no, look,
we're very lucky, I feel. It's very, it's one thing I love as well is that we're both so positive.
Correct.
So we both bring out the positive in each other more.
Yeah.
And it's also, even for me, like small things, like, I kept on meeting you and I was like, I really need to go on social media more. I need to but like, it's almost like just I would wake up in the morning, I'd have an idea and I'd think, right, today I'm going to do that. Mm-hmm. By the end of it, I've got no one to like bounce the idea off, or like someone to tell me it's correct.
Yep.
Someone to tell me, no, it's not a good idea. Someone to tell me it's a good idea. Now to have that, I feel like I am getting so much more done. Mm-hmm. I really do.
No, I think that, look, it's easy to kind of talk yourself into doing things, and it's easy to talk yourself out of doing these things.
Definitely.
In the same sentence. But if we say, right, look, these are our business goals, this is what we're looking to achieve, and we have accountability from each other.
Correct. Makes a big difference.
It does make a big difference, which is good. So
what's the plan then? So we're here now.
Very exciting.
What's our plans moving forward?
I think for everybody that's out there, look, there's going to be a lot of the same. When I say a lot of the same, okay, we've put in an infrastructure that has now allowed us to grow. Yeah. Okay. To support,
which has taken a long time. Like
people,
and fair play, like that has been fully on you. Like I am a salesperson through and through. I don't have obviously that corporate structure that you have. All of that corporate understanding and what it takes to do that. So you have come in and you've really shaked things up and said, like, we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which I was almost even not scared, but like I felt like, because I've made such a friendship with all my staff, I felt quite uncomfortable to have them, like, this is what's going to happen. So you've definitely made that all happen very quickly.
It is difficult as well, isn't it? Because you hire people inevitably because you like them.
Yep.
Right. Then the more time you spend with people, you end up getting a good friendly relationship. And I think it's not just you, it's not me, it's not just us, it's the business as a whole. But you do have to, there comes a line, and we're never going to be, the sorts of bosses that are barking orders and,
never
become a number.
Yeah.
No, there's always going to be that relationship, but you do.
It's like a line, I feel, like a fine line and a fine dance.
Correct.
Maybe I've been overly nice. That is kind of allowed, not people to take advantage, but I have done so much for people.
Yeah.
And
we'll continue to do so, right?
Completely. Like, I love doing that extra that I know I would appreciate if I was an agent. So it's so nice to have. But yeah, it just feels it feels good that it's kind of like it's not all on me to make them decisions anymore. It's like, right, if I get asked a question I don't like, I'm like, speak to Chris.
Speak to Chris.
It's amazing. I love it.
But look, so we've got some, I think there's going to be a lot of the same, isn't there? What I say by that is there is going to be
the same culture.
From a foundation perspective,
yeah.
Right? And this is one of the biggest things that yes, we've been friends for a very long time. We have the same visions, values, morals, ethics, etc.
Definitely.
That's the cornerstone. And
it's the foundation, definitely.
But, partnering with somebody, I mean, look, the Google 5-star reviews,
yep.
Okay? The fact that, you, and with that, you've obviously passed on to the team, just to be straight with people. Good 100%. News, bad news.
Tell the truth.
Straight.
Like, just be honest.
Correct.
It's the easiest thing to do, and it gets you so far.
Correct. Whether it's a vendor, whether it's a buyer, whether it's a seller, whatever it is, they will like and appreciate and respect and admire the fact that you've had a difficult conversation, rather than trying to hide things or beat around the bush.
And in the long run, you'll always come out
with
something better later.
Exactly. So, even if it wasn't meant to be, you can only force so many things so far. Sometimes a deal isn't meant to happen for whatever reason.
It's not meant to be.
Exactly. And as I say, a lot of the time you'll have that conversation, no would have been said, and then 3-6 months later,
absolutely, totally agree.
This is why that happened.
Yeah,
you weren't meant to buy that. You were meant to.
That was meant to happen. Yeah.
So there's going to be a lot of the same, but
but we're looking mainly now, I think, organic, the similar to basically what has already happened. However, just maybe in a bit quicker way, maybe a bit faster, but definitely keeping agents happy, passing over leads, being here to help close deals. I think having access to two people that have got so much knowledge and are able to help, it's a rarity. I don't actually know any other company, and I might be mistaken, sorry if you are a company that does the same thing as us, but I don't really know any other company that has the owners that are still selling and that are helping agents close all their deals. Like on the phone at 7 o'clock at night, 7 o'clock in the morning. Like, yes, there's great managers out in the market, definitely. But to be that hands-on, and both of us are still so active actually on the ground as agents, because also as a manager or an owner, when you stop doing deals, you stop feeling the market.
100%.
So you, and it can happen fast. It can happen in 6 months. You lose touch with the market. You lose touch with what buyers want, or the feeling if the market's going up or if the market's going down. So yeah, I really do feel like it's a niche. Don't get me wrong. It's a huge balancing act, and every moment of every day we're so busy because we're obviously doing so many things, but I really do believe it's part of our niche. And I think, good people, especially people in this market nowadays, are getting very carried away because everyone's winning. Everyone is winning today. Agents are winning, companies are winning. However, I feel like everyone needs to be a bit realistic, because God forbid,
optimistic,
if the market does fall, which is very possible. It could happen tomorrow. It could happen next year. But if it does, unfortunately, there will be so many casualties. Like, God forbid, if the market collapses tomorrow, we will not go out of business. Correct. I will not let it happen. I will take from investments outside. I will do whatever it takes to stay open. And I would be the first person in this office and the last person to leave, still selling.
Exactly.
So we know that, God forbid, if that happened, we would still support our staff. We would make sure all the agents are paid. There was a lot of horror stories before 2020. Of even big companies going bust and the agents going to the doors and the doors were literally taped up and they lost all their commission.
Some were more publicized
there's a lot to be said for genuine, true people that have your best interest as well as their own in the core of them as human beings, to say like, right, even if, God forbid, that happens, we will not leave you.
Correct.
And we are still, here with the hands in the mud with you. So,
and also, if and when that time comes, I mean, look, we've been through up cycles,
100%.
down cycles, left cycles, right cycles. We've had those conversations before, and
we will
it
do it again.
Be a matter of, okay, right, sell, crack. No, we would be
know how to
from the forefront.
100%. And this is one of the best things that we actually lead from example.
Correct.
Rather than being people that tell people what to do. We actually we show them. I'm negotiating on the phone openly in front of my staff all the time. So I'm not just telling them, you should do this, or no, we'll do it together.
Exactly.
This is but I don't think we'd have it any other way. I love it. I love it. I literally love the job so much. Yeah, and even after all these years, yes, you have your ups and down days, but I couldn't imagine not doing it.
And I think that's the job in a whole as well, right? Whether you're the business owner, whether you're the manager, whether you're the salesperson, you have to love this job.
You do.
You can't just start it and think, oh, I'm going to try real estate, etc. And let's
absolutely.
See if I can earn a little bit
if you feel like that about the job and you're listening to this, please don't even bother. Like, no, save yourself the pain because it's so painful.
And look, you might not know initially, right? But you do have to kind of fall in love with the process. You have to
be dedicated. You have to have this hunger from within yourself, this motivation. Like, everyone wants money. Everyone wants money. Yeah. But how much are you truly, forget the money, because I know for me, my motivation was never actually the money. No. My motivation was the freedom. My motivation was helping my family, helping myself. I had so much more motivation than it was never about the money. So if you only want to buy a flashy car forget it.
Yeah.
You need a core. You need to know what you're doing it for.
But this is why one of the things that we cover in our training is, I think is
Our training is
pay
80 pages now because of Christopher.
Goals. What are your goals? Because when you have a bad day and you call
making you
90 people, and you've had a deal fall through and everything else, what's
keeping you going?
If it is just a car, or if it's a few more dirhams in the bank, that's not going to drive you. But if it is tied to an overarching higher goal of, as you said, freedom, a home for you and your family,
safety,
safety and security for sometimes parents, your children, whatever it's going to be, that's what keeps you going, So it is important. It can't just be money. What's that money going to do for you?
Definitely. I actually think we've hit half an hour, Christopher.
I think we have. There we go.
That wasn't that.
Don't want to spend any more time.
What was the word I said at the beginning? It wasn't that awkward.
It was good.
Towards the end, was it?
But there's going to be lots more to come, and it won't just be us, will it?
No, for sure.
It won't just be us. So look,
we'll have people on.
We'll have some guests talking about all different aspects of the industry, from interiors to conveyancing to interiors to construction to whatever.
Absolutely.
It's going to be,
we'll have some leather master professionals on.
What?
Leather professionals.
Oh, leather.
Like to protect your home.
Correct, exactly.
You'll be on here, Diane. Don't worry, we've got you.
And look, if anybody is interested, feel free to
absolutely.
Get in touch.
That's really nice.
Exactly.
True.
Yeah.
Good
if
point.
If anybody is listening to this,
and you would like to be on our crazy podcast,
pleasure to host you. Pleasure to have you, and we're looking forward to it.
Also, just one thing that I would like to add on. Also, if there's anything in particular that anyone listening would like to know more about, obviously today is very much about us.
Topics.
But if there is something that you believe we could educate you with, or we could help you with, please send us DM or wherever this goes. I have no idea actually where this is going, but comment on and let us know what you would like us to talk about, and we'll need ideas. Basically, I'm not creative.
Give us some examples for the next podcast. Yeah.
So. Okay.
Good.
Cool.
I think that's a wrap.
Amazing. We did it, Chris.